Our students can take advantage of this very broken system by getting the best LSAT you can, apply broadly, and then just refuse to pay up. Hello and welcome to episode 524 of the Thinking LSAT podcast. I'm Nathan Fox. With me is Ben Olson. We're the co-founders of LSATdemon.com and the LSAT Demon Daily podcast. Right off the bat, Ben, we have a bunch of tips from people who recently crushed the LSAT, and sometimes on their way out the door, we ask them for their advice. So we've got 5 different pieces of advice. You want to start with Andrew?
Yeah, just read the damn, just read the damn words on the screen and answer some damn questions. Okay, Andrew. So many people, and then he cites LSAT Reddit, overthink and overcomplicate everything, asking about how to set up their study plans, where to go from X score to whatever score, how to diagram some and most statements, etc. Buddy, just click the drill button. Thanks to my innovative strategy and the Demon, I scored a 172 this August. Thanks, Demon Team.
Yeah, it's pretty straightforward if you just read the words on the page. Mario says, never clap, give, clap, up, clap. You know how people do that thing with emojis?
Yeah.
Also, never sign up, let alone take, an official exam before you have dominated your practice tests. Even one disappointing official result can damage your test mindset for years. Take these words from someone who first took an official exam in January of 2019 and scored a 151. With maximal thanks to the Demon Daily, and Thinking LSAT, I just learned that I scored a 171 on my August exam, my best ever official or unofficial result. Like you predicted, I didn't finish a single section.
Yeah, that's good to hear. People just probably don't believe that, especially with anything in the 170s.
Well,
you don't need
listen to these tips, and you're going to keep hearing it over and over and over. Want to read Steven?
Yep. Do not settle. Get greedy. My cold diagnostic was a high 130s several years ago. I studied between undergrad summers during college and then made the decision to take a gap year and work and study after I graduated. I got 169 on my April and June LSATs. People told me that that was a great score, but I knew from practice tests that I could do better. I kept studying and just scored a 180. Okay, wow. On the
40-point improvement.
Yeah, that's wild. On my August LSAT, to say the Demon helped me would be an understatement. I want people out there to realize you can master this test, even if you initially are terrible at it, like I was. There is a misconception for some people that if you don't have a higher diagnostic, you cannot get deep into the high 170s. And this is not the case. You're not even in the 170s, by the way. My one sentence advice would be lock in and understand if you truly want this, the sky is the limit.
Yeah, great job, Stephen. Megan says, for anyone who, like me, is a fast reader and a great test taker, the advice to slow down still applies to you! Exclamation point. Think about what the words mean and pretend that you are moments away from having to explain out loud what you just read. I started studying in March with a 166 cold diagnostic and was averaging around 174 before the June test. I scored a disappointing 168 in June, but I never stopped studying and I got my 180 in August. Wow. I'm eating the cost of the September registration fee, but being ready to take September and October too, if necessary, was worth it to lower the pressure of that August test. Also, one piece of advice for parents. My kids are 3 and 1. Get yourself a hotel room the night before your test for guaranteed sleep. Even if your kids are good sleepers, chaos happens. Give yourself the gift of solitude.
Fair enough. This last one is from Sam. Work hard, and then when you think you're working hard, go harder. Be honest to yourself and commit to the 170. Sincerely, an official 151 to 177 using just the demon.
Okay. This, by the way, is a selection of these kinds of tips. Every time score release comes out, we have this like big outflow of people who crushed the test using the demon, and they frequently share their tips that are like this. We
Yeah.
also, of course, every time scores are released, have this wave of new students coming in
Mm,
who crashed and burned trying to do it different ways.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome to anybody who is newly in the fold. The LSAT really is easy. But you got to slow down. You got to make sure you're really understanding what you're reading.
Mm-hmm.
Don't register. I think it's a huge tip. Who was it that said that? Mario. Be like Mario. Don't sign up for the official test unless you're happy with your practice test results.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, be like Megan and have a backup and a backup so that if you do it this way, then you don't even sit for your first test until you know you can do it based on your practice tests.
Mm-hmm.
But you also don't treat that official test as if it's the be all end all, super high stakes, super high pressure, because you've got a backup and you've got another backup scheduled after that. You know that law schools only care about your highest score. So you get to take the test in a low pressure situation. You're reducing the pressure on all sides.
I'd love to do a survey of the current demon students and just ask them, are you aiming for one and done, or are you putting the future tests on your calendar, as Sam put it, sincerely?
Yeah, I think that a lot of times people pay lip service to the idea, right? Yeah, well, of
Yeah.
course I know schools only care about the highest score, but I really only want to take it once.
Yeah.
Okay, but
I understand that's important, but in my particular situation, that's just not going to work.
yeah, yeah. Please be like all these folks. I mean, what do we have here? We have people improving by 25 points off of their official test for people
Mm-hmm.
who did it the wrong way officially the first time around. We
Mm-hmm.
also have people improving by 40 points off of their diagnostic.
That's
We got
wild.
multiple 180s.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not that hard if you tongue in cheek apply Andrew's innovative strategy of just slowing down and reading the damn words on the screen.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
really what it's all about. All right. This next thing up, Ben, I don't know if you saw this, but can you click these links that I've got on our agenda and see if we can figure out what's going on here? This is
Sure.
I joined the American Bar Association.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer, I guess. I just want to see what's going on over there, right? Because we
Yeah.
talk about the American Bar Association 509 reports all the time. We talk about the American Bar Association accreditation of law schools. So I joined the ABA and I joined their section on legal education.
Mm-hmm.
So we have here a letter from the council chair
Okay.
and Daniel Thies. And apparently what's going on is the section on legal education is going through their they've got core principles that are guiding their revision of the standards for accreditation of law schools.
Okay.
Um, so I've got this membership, so I can. And by the way, anybody can join it, so it's not like I'm doing something I'm not supposed to do here.
Yeah.
So it says the council has recently undertaken a sustained effort to articulate the quote core principles and values of law school accreditation that guide its work, culminating in the unanimous adoption of this document. And we're going to get into this document.
Okay.
The core principles include 5 core goals of accreditation, along with 12 substantive and 8 procedural values that guide the council's work.
Values, procedural values. Okay.
Substantive values and procedural values.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. Um, he says many of these are recognizable, such as the statement that it is not the job of the accreditor to mandate best practices. Rather, the accreditor's job should be to set, quote, minimum or, quote, sufficient standards while leaving law schools free to pursue their own unique missions. There are and should be a wide variety of ways to comply with our standards. I guess I was wondering if he was confusing sufficient and necessary there when he said minimum or sufficient. I think maybe he meant and instead of or, right? Because I think he meant for minimum. Didn't he mean that to mean necessary?
Yes. I think by sufficient, he meant what a lot of people...
He meant necessary. So
he meant necessary. Yeah. He meant what most people think when you say, oh, is that sufficient? Is that good enough? Right. Is that the bare minimum? And that's not technically...
That's not how they use that word on the law school admission test.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, I start with the question of why the council is charged with accrediting law schools in the first place. There are two primary answers to that question. One is that we accredit for the general public to ensure consumer protection for prospective law students. This goal is defined in part by our recognition by the U.S. Department of Education, which recognizes accreditors to ensure that federal student loan dollars are sent to schools that provide the quality of legal education that students should be able to reasonably expect. The council has had this purpose as an accreditor since 1952, when it was first recognized by the Department of Education as the only federally recognized accreditor of law schools. With me so far?
I am with you. I'm just, all sorts of thoughts are going through my head. Like, okay, if so many people are not passing the bar, how can you say that that money is being spent on?
Oh, yeah.
What was the term there? It was like a quality legal education, or?
Yeah, to ensure consumer protection for prospective law students, send federal student loan dollars to schools that provide the quality of legal education that students should be able to reasonably expect.
Yeah. So you can't separate price from that, right? Like, I would be fine with the government subsidizing student loans if they were very small. And so, yeah, you're going to expect some failure. I don't think you can create a legal education system where people don't, or they always pass. That just seems also stupid. But
well, and you want to give people a chance, right? So, yeah, like having some failure if the stakes are lower.
Yeah, that's the issue. Like, you're the fact that the federal government is willing to back a loan that can exceed $100,000 and then have so many people fail.
Yeah, right.
Is just insane.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess by analogy, do we think that the government would fund cancer treatments that never work?
I guess never is not quite the right word, right? Because
that frequently fail. They're going to insist on some standards, right? They're going to go, oh yeah, it doesn't always work, but it's worth the money, basically.
Yeah, well, you're going to come back to, okay, how much are we talking about? Are we talking about $100,000 per patient? Right. Yeah.
Okay. The second answer, so the second reason why the Council for Legal Education, in the
within the ABA,
within the ABA, the second reason, and the older, more long-standing answer, is that the council accredits law schools for the benefit of the state Supreme Courts and other bar admitting authorities to assist them in their role of regulating entry to the legal profession.
That sounds grand, but really, like you've said a million times, that's just protectionism.
In this role, the council accredits schools to the state Supreme Courts for the purpose of assuring them that the graduates of our accredited law schools will be prepared upon passing the bar examination or completing an alternative regulatory pathway into practice to effectively meet the legal needs of the public. This has been the council's purpose since at least 1921, the year that the council first undertook the project of accrediting law schools.
Pointless.
This purpose thus predates recognition by the Department of Education and the more consumer-oriented purpose of our accreditation by at least 30 years.
It's pointless. The bar will do that job for you. If the Supreme Courts are worried about people coming into the profession unprepared and unskilled in the practice of law, then the bar will keep them out. You don't need to accredit schools. Sorry, continue.
No, I mean it is funny. It's really interesting to see a little peek behind the curtain here. Like, what are they thinking as they accredit these schools?
I suspect they believe this too.
I think they do too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's the second of these two answers that distinguishes the council's work from that of other higher education accreditors. In other parts of the academy, accreditation is primarily a process of peer review, the certification of quality by other peer academic institutions. While that value is not absent from the council's processes, see procedural value number 4, which we'll get to in a minute. The identity of the original and primary audience for our accreditation, that is, the state bar admitting authorities, suggests that we are not fundamentally a part of the academy conducting peer review. Rather, we do our work in service of the profession more broadly, and our decisions about accreditation, individual school decisions, as well as decisions about changes to our standards and rules, must always consider the needs of a changing profession and the public it serves as paramount. Blah, blah, blah. We're going to rely on this core principles and values so that we can ensure that all individuals admitted to practice law are equipped to serve their clients and the public.
I disagree with so many assumptions that are being held here that I can just, I could go off for a couple minutes.
Kind of paying lip service, right, to the consumer protection bit. And then going right back to the like, well, basically what we're really doing is we're trying to help out the state bars.
Yeah, but the consumer bit too is just like such a farce, because if you're really trying to protect consumers, all you would do is look at bar passage rates. You would just say, "Hey, did you succeed? We don't care how you fucking did it. We don't care if you did it online. We don't care," right?
Yeah, right.
Oh, you're not helping people pass. Okay. Or maybe you'd look at bar passage rate and debt ratio or something like that. Say, how much are you charging? Especially for the people who failed. Because you don't want to hide how much you're actually charging those folks that failed.
Yeah.
That'd be a great metric.
They are working hard on it. Can you get into this core principles and values of law school accreditation document?
Sure. Working hard at what?
I think that they genuinely believe that they are doing what Mr. Thies says they're doing. I think that he's trying to serve two masters, the public and the state bars.
The guild, okay.
The guild, yeah. He acknowledges fairly quickly, right, that he gets to that second goal pretty quickly. He talks about the first goal of consumer protection pretty quickly. Then he, briefly up top, and then, but the second, longer standing, before we'd started doing this, this role with the Department of Education, with their taking care of their money. The second thing it's really about, the state bars, and this is a service that we do to the state bars. Anyway, they have this whole big document, Core Principles and Values of Law School Accreditation, from August of 2025. So this is really new. This is what they're like actively working on. You want to read these core goals of accreditation?
Sure. The council identified the following statements as the primary goals of accreditation. 1, accreditation requires that law schools maintain a rigorous program of legal education that prepares their students upon graduation for admission to the bar and for effective, ethical, and responsible participation as members of the legal profession.
Yeah, and so there you would say, why are you even doing that at all? Why don't you just look at the results?
Yeah. Okay. 2. Accreditation protects against the economic exploitation of law students and ensures applicants and the public receive accurate information about the program. Fail. B
Well,
plus.
yeah, I agree, and I mean that's where we have notes, right? Like I don't really care what you're doing as far as requiring schools to have a certain number of librarians or classes on ethics or whatever. I mean, I think that's all unnecessary, and I think that it actually hinders, things like new online law schools.
Mm-hmm.
But that second part, protecting against the economic exploitation of law students, that is clearly not. They're not achieving that goal.
Not
Okay.
anywhere. Yeah, close. 3. Accreditation protects clients, the public, like legal clients, I guess, and the legal system by helping to ensure that lawyers are competent to fulfill their professional responsibilities. Okay, Yelp, Google reviews, Trustpilot, all those platforms handle this quite well. Better
Yeah, and
than this fucking system.
ABA accreditation just does not. I mean,
Yeah.
if you look at the lawyers that are coming out of the bottom 100 accredited schools, how many of those people are actually successfully practicing law? I don't know. It's not zero, but it's maybe
What do you
half.
mean? What do you mean by successfully practicing? Like, you can hire an attorney who went to the best school and still not get great legal advice. Like, I don't. This is like a fantasy to think that you
Yeah.
can protect clients, the public, and the legal system by helping to ensure. That means to guarantee that lawyers are competent.
Well, it also
No,
says
there's no guarantee.
helping to ensure, right? Which is
Ah, fair.
like
I
classic
don't want to talk about
LSAT,
that.
LSAT, like just hedging, like I can just imagine a student going, it said insure. You said you were going to insure. And they go,
Yeah.
I said I was going to
Helping.
help to insure.
And when you help, you only have to help 1%.
I only have to help 1% of 1%. I'm still helping to insure. Yeah. Okay.
But I
Number
actually
4.
don't think they're helping to insure. So, and we can talk about that once we get through these. But accreditation standards must reflect changing forms and methods of law practice.
Like extremely slowly, right? They've got these trials out there now where, oh, yeah, maybe you can do law school online. Of course, that only happened years after COVID, like it's just very, very slowly edging in that direction.
It's not even anywhere close to what it could be too. Because like think about Coursera, they could offer a whole legal education for $40 a month if they were allowed to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So number 5, accreditation standards and standards for some reason was this intentional? Capitalized, whereas in number 4 they were not. Support and promote the rule of law. Vague platitude that no one can assess whether is actually happening. I think this is so backwards in so many ways, and primarily because I think it stifles innovation. It prevents people from getting a legal education radically cheaper for radically less money in radically less time, and thus opening the market to all sorts of people who could do a lot better job for the clients, their clients, the public, and the legal system, but they're being held out because actually, no, to go to law school and to eventually become a lawyer, you have to be rich and a great hoop jumper.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can't be, there's no, drop out of undergrad and the like Zuckerberg path.
Mm-hmm.
No. For lawyers, that's like you're doing extra.
Yeah.
This next line is interesting. Accreditation should not be designed to protect the profession by regulating the number of new entrants or protecting the income level of lawyers.
Wait, why are they even saying that? Because that's literally what they're doing. It's a weird protest, right? Like, oh, it shouldn't be for this purpose. Yet that's precisely what they are doing.
Yeah, well, you say you're not doing what you're
You're doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Accreditation should not protect the terms and conditions of employment of law school employees. Okay, fine. We don't really care that much about that part of it. Next line, accreditation should not be designed to place limits on the number of law schools or require homogeneity among law school programs, which is exactly what it does, comma, unless necessary and narrowly tailored to achieve one of the four objectives above, but should enable innovation and differentiation by mission.
Good luck. Yeah.
It's basically just talking out of both sides of your mouth, right? It's like,
Yeah.
hey, let's be honest, we're going to hardly change anything ever.
I
but
think it's actually, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I think it's actually super interesting that you read this paragraph and that they are literally saying these things. It makes me less convinced that they are sincere believers in their mission.
Because they're protesting too much?
Yeah, it's like you seem to be acutely aware of these issues as opposed to completely believing that you're avoiding them.
Yeah. Okay, so then they get into 12 substantive values and 8 procedural values. They're very lawyerly. I don't want to talk about all of these, but I did want to talk about number 3. Under their substantive values, the standards should support the value of access to legal education by not imposing requirements that unnecessarily increase the cost of legal education. You know, like 3 years of in-person legal education.
Okay. Again, not doing that.
Yeah. Number 5, I think, is the one that we're going to be the maddest about. The standards require transparency for prospective and current law students regarding the program of legal education so students can make the best decisions with respect to pursuing a law degree. And this is where if I could just offer them one request, do a better job of making the price transparent. If you care about transparency, if you care at all about protecting students from predatory schools, it's not enough to have a 509 report where they publish some fake tuition that they don't actually charge 80% of the class. The current system requires students to apply to a school, get admitted, then find out what the price is going to be. And like legally speaking, maybe that's not true because they do have a published price and some people do pay that published price. But if 80-something% of all law students at American Bar Association accredited schools are getting significant discounts to law school, then right now, de facto, we don't have transparency into price. It's not possible to know how much your JD is going to cost. You can't comparison shop schools unless you apply broadly and are admitted to those schools. It's as if you had to apply to, I mean, I guess it's true. I guess that's actually how it works. You know, we know that the price of a car at a car dealer is not the price. Like you have to negotiate with them about that car. And so to find out the real price, you'd have to go from dealer to dealer to dealer to dealer. But it also wouldn't be orders of magnitude different in price, right? You're never going to, there is no dealer that's going to give it to you for free.
Or pay
there
you
is no
to take
dealer
it
that's
away.
going to pay you to take it away from them.
Yeah.
But one, legal education is way more expensive than a car. 2, the money is getting siphoned out of the U.S. Department of Education to pay for this stuff. 3, yeah, these prices are wildly fake and not transparent at all. So, they've got a 3-page American Bar Association 509 mandated disclosure document. But nowhere on that page does it say, here's the actual average price that people paid.
Yep.
So a couple things you could do, right? I mean, you could just mandate true pricing. Sticker price is what you pay.
We could
No,
force them to
no.
publish the price of every student.
Okay, yeah, you want to go the next step. I mean, of course, they could just anonymize it, right?
Yeah, they could not.
Or
You could just say students 1 through whatever, but you could see the price that everyone paid, so
right,
you know exactly how it's
right.
distributed.
Right now they have to publish 75th percentile, 50th percentile, and 25th percentile grant amounts.
Mm-hmm.
No, it should be 1 through 100 grant amounts. It
Yeah.
should just be list all the students and what was their grant amounts.
Yeah.
And then you could then average that and show me the actual average price paid.
Mm-hmm.
But we heard recently, I mean, this was a few months back, but apparently there is some effort to try to get those 25th and 75th percentiles taken off the
Yeah, and I
509.
wonder what argument they're trying to make. Like, oh, what? What's the argument? I don't even know what the argument would be, but they're going to spin it in some way. So it sounds like consumer protectionism, even though it's the opposite.
Yeah, it just there's no planet on which transparent pricing doesn't help the consumer. It's just
Mm-hmm.
not a fair market. It's not an efficient market if the buyer can't see the price.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you. If boy, that would be a huge guest if we could get Mr. Thies to come on and talk about this, or anybody else from the Council on Legal Education. We'd love to talk to you guys about it. From our perspective, decade plus doing this podcast, working with thousands of law school applicants, it's just like they have to dive into shark infested waters to even figure out what how much this JD could possibly cost them
Yeah.
before, like they have to take the first step before they have to spend a year or more of their lives
Mm-hmm.
doing the LSAT, applying to schools. They have to get so far down the road before they even find out
Way,
what the price
way
could
down.
possibly be.
Yeah.
It's just obscene. Okay. Well, anyway, we'll keep
Cool.
yelling about that, and maybe no change will ever happen. Although we do need to talk about the Paul Campos blog post and this new recent information about the continuing law school tuitions have actually been falling in real
Mm-hmm.
dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Law school tuitions have been falling because of this competition that they're doing.
For scholarships.
It's like this hidden though, right? It's this subterranean.
Oh yeah,
They're I
because
guess
the
they're
nominal prices have gone up. In fact, they go up every year. We know this. We know that
yeah.
your nominal tuition can go up 2-3%. So watch out. Your scholarship isn't going to be worth as much as it was when you started. Yet in real dollars, scholarships or tuition paid is dropping. That's crazy. So that's even worse. So that means the nominal increase you see of 2 to 3% is really like 4 to 5% or whatever the drop is. Lovely.
If you're paying full price for law schools, you're getting ripped off. I
Wildly.
mean, it
Yeah.
just like if you're paying full freight,
Or even
there are
close.
4 people there for you. There are 4 other people there who
Mm-hmm.
are paying less than you if you're paying full freight.
Yep.
So you now can't pay full freight. It almost seems like the schools themselves should get together and just be like, "Hey, let's let's tell the American Bar Association that we want to be regulated in this transparent pricing sort of a way
Mm.
so that we can just stop the madness."
They
Otherwise,
stopped
they
the
just have to
game.
keep undermining each other with the scholarships.
Yeah, but the madness probably still pays off. They get more out of the market as a whole by discriminating pricing.
I suppose that does allow them to
Extract more, right?
charge the rich people more, yeah, because they
And
can do
poor
this
people
price
less.
discrimination. I wonder
Yeah.
if there would be a solution where, well, yeah, I guess just like totally means based. Like, oh yeah, you can charge
That's
different
just like a
prices, but it's
rat.
only means based.
Yeah, it's true. You could do that. It would be fairer, it seems like, but boy, that's just a whole can of worms as well.
Oh, of course, because people could game it.
Well, you have the gaming. You also just have like odd situations where, kids are independent, but their
Mm-hmm.
parents are wealthy, unwilling to support them financially. So then it's like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
sorry. Well, you have access to finances, so this is what it's going to cost you. And it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it's just tough. And I'm sure it cuts the other way too. There are people who have enough to have to pay, but still, really, it's just not enough.
In the meantime, our students can take advantage of this very broken system by getting the best LSAT you can, apply broadly, and then just refuse to pay up. Just look at all your offers and, go to the right school at the right price. Um, you want to give an update on Crushing 1L?
Yeah, let's talk about it. So we did launch the beta version. So now if you log into the Daemon with any plan, free, basic, premium, live, you'll see Crushing 1L in the sidebar menu. You can click on that page. It'll take you to the Crushing 1L dashboard. If you click on you'll see it. I mean, it's just right in your face. There's a Daemon recommends panel that tells you, hey, we recommend you do this drill or you do this skill or you do this lesson, and you just click it and go. And you can start learning about the stuff you'll be learning in law school. Granted, to get access to all the content, you need at least a basic plan. Can't just be on free, but you can try it out, the free plan.
Yeah. Um, Demon team member Aaron, who was critical in building out the Crushing 1L asynchronous content,
Mm,
also last night taught her first Crushing 1L live class. It
mm,
was called Cracking Case Briefing. It was a 1 hour class. The recording
mm,
is already posted. Uh, People loved it. They went through an actual case, an abridged version of a case, and then they walked through the basic elements of a case brief, why you need it, and different real life examples of what different styles of student briefs might look like. So it was sort of a workshop-y format class, and there were a bunch of Demon team members there because we have a bunch of Demon team members, including Abby, who are actually 1Ls.
mm, mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
these were like 1Ls there, along with Aaron, who is, by the way, an actual attorney. Actual attorney Aaron was there talking to these people about, okay, here's what the briefing process is all about. Of course, I'm sure Abby is also getting that same information, at Penn Law School, but here he's getting it from with the distinct, demon flavor
Yeah.
on the demon platform with other demon community members. So anyway, that's available right now for all demon students. Crushing
Nice.
1L. Check it out.
What about the podcast?
Oh yeah, and by the way, check out the Crushing 1L podcast because there we've got Abby and Amina, she's a 1L at UCLA,
Mm-hmm.
and they're killing it with the Crushing 1L podcast. So check that out as well.
Yeah. Cool. You can send your questions to crushing1l.com.
Nice. Next one is an email from Gabriel asking whether going to an ABA accredited school is necessary.
Okay. I'm in my junior year of college and I have maintained a 4.0 GPA so far. I've started studying for the LSAT, and by using a slow and steady approach, I'm consistently scoring 22 out of 26 correct answers on timed practice tests, with my scores improving daily. Okay. Recently, I learned that I can attend Lincoln Law School of Sacramento, a California bar accredited school with only 60 undergrad units. Okay. Several lawyers I know from the area encourage me to attend because the time and cost savings of not completing a bachelor's degree could be worthwhile. Initially, I agreed, but now I'm having second thoughts. With my GPA and a strong LSAT score, I believe I could attend a higher ranked law school for a similar cost. Lincoln Law costs $75,000 for all 4 years. However, I'm concerned about my age as I'm already 24, nearly 25. Dear God. If I finish my bachelor's degree first, I won't start law school until I'm 27 or 28. Additionally, I'm unsure about the type of law I want to practice And some lawyers suggest that attending a top tier law school is only necessary if I aim for a career in big law. What are your thoughts on this?
I think that Gabriel's right that attending a top tier law school matters most for big law and for high prestige nonprofit jobs, federal clerkships. Like if you think you're going to clerk on the Supreme Court or something, the surest path to that is to go through a top tier law school. If you want to make $200,000 in starting salary right out of law school, you probably need to go to a top school to go into big law.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to do much more pedestrian legal jobs, you can probably go to a California bar accredited school. The thing that I was interested in here is I never imagined, though, that you could get barred without finishing undergrad.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I did not know about that. So I would encourage Gabriel, and maybe our listeners can help us out here. Let us know at thinkinglsat.com. But can you be barred in California if you just graduate from a California bar accredited school? I actually wonder whether Lincoln Law School would require Gabriel to finish his bachelor's while attending Lincoln Law School.
Yeah, I don't know. Seems weird.
Let us know. ThinkingLSAT.com. Gabriel, maybe you can write us back. I want to know if there are people out there who are taking this alternative path, because if you could just skip undergrad, especially for people later in life, Gabriel's already working. He does not have his bachelor's, and he's already working. He's working on the bachelor's. He still has 2 more years, it looks like, of his bachelor's. Does he need to do 2 years of his bachelor's and then do 3 years of law school? Or could he do this part-time 4-year program at Lincoln Law School and do the California bar that way? My biggest worry, Gabriel, would just be that you can get a job once you graduate, but sounds like you've got lots of lawyers telling you to do it. I would just ask them, okay, who am I going to work for? What's that path to practice look like? But given what we know about how ABA accredits their law schools, it's not like do you really think that the bottom 100 ABA accredited schools are significantly better than Lincoln Law School? I don't know anything about Lincoln Law School, but
No,
I'd guess that they are very
probably
similar.
not. Yeah.
Okay.
My only hesitation is that these things $75,000 is still just a lot of money. Is there any way you can finish undergrad faster? Find the shortest degree required, right?
Yeah.
Get that, graduate, and then you have a 4.0. Presumably you're going to crush it on the LSAT. Right? Then you can go for free.
Right. He says, I believe I could attend a higher ranked law school for a similar cost. No, you could attend Lincoln Law School is not even ranked,
yeah.
right? Because US News only ranks ABA accredited schools. Why? I don't know, but they only rank ABA accredited schools. But you could go to a much higher ranked law school completely for free, given your 4.0 and you're right now getting 22 out of 26 on timed LSATs. I mean, you apply with your 4.0 and a 175, and you're going to have multiple full ride offers from ABA schools in California.
Mm-hmm.
It would take longer, but who gives a shit if you don't start law school until you're 27 or 28? I think that's actually right around the median age of people starting law school, Gabriel. So there's no reason for you to be in any kind of a hurry here.
Mm-hmm.
I am interested in this alternative path to practice, though, if it exists.
Well, knowing your options is key, right?
Yeah.
75 is still a lot. So cool. This next one is from Madi. It's a question about practice tests.
Yeah, I might say Medi, probably. Hi, Nathan and Ben, Canadian listener here. I subscribed to your podcast and started watching your videos a few weeks ago. Huge fan of the way you break down key concepts and LSAT content. I'll be writing the November 2025 LSAT, and I've been PTing in the mid 150s, with my goal being the mid 160s to high 160s. Okay, so I hate that you have already decided what test you're taking. You have no business deciding that you're going to be writing the November 2025 LSAT. Just wait. Don't do that. If you're currently registered for that test, I would go in and just reschedule for like next June. You can do that for free. Kick the can way, way down the road. Right? You can do that for free up until the registration deadline for November, which has got to be coming up. But you just have such a high risk of impeding your own progress or settling if you set this arbitrary test date. I don't think that makes any sense. Anyway, Medi continues. My diagnostic was a 143 and my latest PT was a 156. I've been at it for a month, doing a few hours of studying a day along with one weekly practice and review. That all sounds great so far. You've improved by 13 points.
Yeah, that sounds great. I'm a little hesitant about the one weekly practice. Sounds like one full practice test. It could be a little much.
It does sound like a lot, especially at your level. I mean, because those reviews, those reviews better be taking at least as long as it takes you to do the actual test.
Yeah. The only real advantage of a full practice test is that you can experience what it's like to do sections back to back. There's a lot of disadvantages that I don't think people realize, and that is like what you're saying. You're going to now review a bunch of questions that you took a couple hours ago. Some you're not even going to remember why you chose the answer you chose. It's not as great of a review opportunity, which is where most of the learning takes place. It's not that you shouldn't do practice tests. Yeah. It's just that, look, once a month, once every 2 weeks, that's kind of the default assumption.
Yeah. This could work, though. It sounds like Medi has some time, studying a few hours a day. Okay, that's pretty good. This is carved out a decent chunk of Medi's life, and Medi has made 13 points improvement in just a month. So I'm not going to really quibble too much with that study plan. The only thing I hate is just that you've already decided that you're taking the November test. Okay. Medi continues, my question is about the relevancy of LSAT practice tests. I've read that LSAC has approached LR and RC differently since the removal of logic games, and I was wondering what that means for PTs. Which PTs are more reflective of their current approach, and which ones should be used primarily for drilling? I'm worried that some of the PTs I'm using may not be reflective of what I'll be going into for the LSAT. So, for example, practice tests 125 to 140, are those actually reflective of the modern test? Thank you, Medi. What do you think, Ben?
All right. So if you go to the gym and you can only pick up 25-pound weights, you shouldn't be worrying about the color of the 50-pound weights. It's not going to have any bearing on whether you can pick them up or not.
That's an interesting analogy. You want to say more?
Yeah. So right now you're worried about differences that one may not exist. And to the extent that the LSAC has changed LR and RC,
arguable.
We're just granting for the sake of argument, right?
Yeah.
It hasn't. If it's changed, it's very, very small. And what you need to work on is getting your skills up. You have so many questions that you're missing, even with a 156. Those are opportunities that are staring you in the face, that are saying, hey, get better at this. And if you get better at that, you will get better at whatever they have changed. Although I guarantee you it's not that much.
Oh, no. Get off LSAT Reddit. Because, really,
that's
it's
a
just
fundamental
bullshit.
problem.
It's just a lie. You could absolutely prep with nothing but old practice tests and do just fine on the modern test. Mm-hmm. The test was, and always will be, I think, a test of, did you actually read what it says? Did you understand what it says? Are you reading the facts? Are you reading the question we're asking you about that passage? Are you picking an answer that actually answers the question based on the record? Are you avoiding the 4 wrong answers that just don't answer the question correctly based on the record? There's
Mm-hmm.
one right answer and there's 4 wrong answers, and you can just figure this shit out. I I agree completely. I think Mehdi is like so caught up in this. Well, but on the internet, I've heard that LSAT has approached LR and NRC differently, and I'm so worried about this, and so worried about like I want to make sure that the tests I'm taking are giving me accurate diagnostics. Who gives a shit? You're missing. I mean, what percentage, Ben? Rough math. What percentage of each practice test Mehdi does? What percentage of the questions do you think Mehdi actually understands? Uh, if you're scoring a 156,
Yeah.
what percentage of those 75 questions on the test do you think Mehdi actually understands?
Yeah, I'm just gonna is gut answer here, 40%.
Yeah, I was going to say half. I was going to give a little bit
Yeah.
more credit and say around 50%,
Yeah.
because you know, you're probably not finishing the sections, which is great. You shouldn't be. You're definitely not understanding the ones that you didn't even get to.
Mm-hmm.
You are, which is fine. That's fine. Those are the harder ones anyway. But of the ones that you are getting to, I'm guessing Mehdi's accuracy is around 75%,
Mm-hmm.
which means you're missing 25% of the questions you attempted, so you don't understand those. But I think it also means that there's another 25% of the questions that you didn't quite understand. You just happened to get it right.
Yeah. Well, so then I'm adding in
Oh, maybe
those
you're
ones
right. Your 40% is looking good,
yeah.
Ben. I think Mehdi is at about 50% true understanding of the questions that they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
0% understanding of the questions they're not getting to. That's fine.
Yeah.
And scoring a 156. Well,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So, yeah, like Ben said, if you're currently struggling to lift the 25-pound weights, then I guess you don't need to worry.
Even then, like I don't, the LSAC hasn't released that many tests recently. Zero,
No.
right? When's the last time they released a test? I don't remember now. So
Couple 3 years ago,
we
maybe,
had
that we had
we
new practice tests.
yeah, we got rid of the game. So no matter what test you're looking at, it was pre no games. It had games.
Originally, yeah. And
It
then
had
they
it had games. And yeah,
reconfigured them all.
that's all they've done here. They've taken these people see these 125 to 140 tests. They think they're newer or something. No, they're the older tests. They just reshuffled them and
Repackaged.
took out the games.
Yeah. Same shit, different box.
That's it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mehdi, we have, I mean, as you heard at the top of the show, we have tons of Demon students, every single administration of the test, who completely just crush it using these old tests for practice. So this is a thing where any time you spend thinking about this kind of stuff is just completely wasted and possibly counterproductive too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Worrying about shit that doesn't matter. In the Demon, you can just do it. Just do it. Just hit drill, do some drilling questions. If you want to do a time section, you can start a time section. If you want to start a practice test, you can start a practice test. We've got the tests segregated in a way that we think makes sense, and the scoreboard shows makes sense for our students.
Mm.
The more you try to control it, I think the worse you're actually going to do.
Agreed.
Next one up is from John. John is saying, a JD isn't a gravy train. Apparently, this was a comment on our Demon Daily episode 1212 called Should I Apply This Cycle? You want to read John's comments?
Yeah. Please share this story with aspiring lawyers. I'm an old JD who eventually went into tax in public accounting. I still work busy seasons. Yesterday, I went to a building supply store to buy 5 bags of leveling sand, and the people there were having computer problems, and I jokingly shared my experiences with tax software. One of the guys asked me if I did trust returns, and I replied, yes. We then started talking about various types of trusts, which seemed a little strange to me. He eventually informed me that he had graduated from Mitchell Hamline School of Law. I've never heard of that school. The current full price tuition at Mitchell Hamline exceeds $54,000 per year. Again, he's behind the counter at a building supply store and only heaven knows how much debt he's carrying. As tragic as this may be, it's not a new story. If you can only gain admission to a third or fourth tier private law school, don't do it. If you absolutely positively must go to law school with a lousy GPA or LSAT, move to Ohio, become an Ohio resident, and go to night school at Cleveland State or Toledo. They'll probably accept you and give you a cheap deal, and you can cover your living expenses with a day job. Best of luck. Thanks, John.
This is a graduate from Mitchell Hamline School of Law, maybe with $250,000 in student loan debt, working
Wow.
behind the counter at a building supply.
Yeah.
Uh,
What was that consumer protection we were talking about earlier? I'm trying to remember.
oh yeah, no, hey, no, Ben, this is an accredited law school. Okay.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah. Okay.
This
we're
is
good.
an ABA accredited law school. It does make me want to ask though, Ben, what's the deal with Mitchell Hamline?
Wow. Look at this. Agenda item number 7 is just asking us that. I don't know. Let's find out. I've never heard of this school before, but apparently it's Minnesota's law school of choice, according to the front page of their admissions brochure. Interesting.
Their admissions brochure says Mitchell Hamline is Minnesota's law school of choice.
Fascinating. Okay, we have a graduate here with presumably his child.
So they're the top ranked law school in Minnesota, right? If they're Minnesota's law school of choice?
You would think so, but they're not. Above them is Minnesota at 20. Then you have St. Thomas, Minnesota, which is 94, and Mitchell Hamline coming in at 154. So how are they the school of choice?
I don't think there's probably any difference between St. Thomas of Minnesota and Mitchell Hamline at one, also in Minnesota, apparently.
Yeah. Too many law schools in Minnesota.
They're 60 points different in the rankings, right?
Yeah.
But if the difference between 94 and 154, it fails the 2x rule that we've talked about on previous episodes of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think there's any difference. But there is a big, big, big difference between University of Minnesota and these schools. By the way, shout out to Eric Johansson, former producer of the show, still sometime LSAT Demon contributor, who is a 1L at Minnesota Law.
Yeah.
That's a real school. That school's a big deal.
Yeah.
These other schools, who knows what these are. We do have a link to the 509 report. What?
Yeah. He didn't choose Hamline, so he missed this brochure, I guess.
It's Minnesota's law school of choice. It's not Eric's law school of choice.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Oh boy. I don't know, how do you read these 509s, Ben? The first thing I always look at is just the LSAT and GPA profile of a school. I feel like the LSAT and GPA profile of a school tells you so much about the school.
Yeah.
It's just like, here's the actual quality of the students who are there. And you can learn so much from the quality of the students that are there. We have a 50th percentile LSAT of 154 in the full-time program, 151 in the part-time program. And they have a huge part-time program, by the way. They've got almost twice as many students in the part-time program.
Yeah.
So their overall school LSAT median is 152. Overall school GPA 3.34. Again, that's weighed down by the part-time program. The full-time students have a GPA of 3.45 at the median, and the part-timers only have a 3.31.
Yeah.
So this is a low LSAT, low GPA school. From that, we would be able to infer all sorts of things. Probably relatively poor bar passage, probably relatively bad employment outcomes. Those two numbers do tell you a lot.
Yeah. What else would you look at?
I do like looking at the top right hand. By the
Mm,
way, we're looking at the American Bar Association Standard 509 Information Report. It's a long ass document with a whole bunch of stuff that apparently the ABA cares about it. But it's just like it's just a waste. It's just like so much wasted space, so much bullshit on here that like who cares?
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But faculty resources and all that stuff. Like what? Why do we give a shit about that?
Yeah.
Um, there's a million tables about race and ethnicity, which
Mm.
is great, except it never breaks out like actual price paid by different
The
race and
groups.
ethnicity.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do that. Do that first.
Yeah,
You
the
want to talk about like
granularity
racial
here.
equality and stuff? Show me the price that these groups are paying.
Yeah. Oh, how many people have two or more races? How many? It's just like so much granularity on something that isn't moving the needle.
I'm sure there are people who care about this stuff a lot, right? It's just not, as far as we're concerned, looking at it from a student's perspective, should I choose this school or should I not? And I want to know about my job outcomes. I want to know what price I'm going to have to pay for this degree.
Yep.
And this document really obfuscates that a lot. It's really hard to figure it out. Before we get into the price stuff, I want to
Mm.
look at the top right corner. Does have their number of completed applications, acceptance rate. So here, this is a school that accepts 60% of the people who apply,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
but then only 46% of those do end up enrolling.
Mm-hmm.
So you end up with an enrollment rate from completed applications of 28%. They have to go out there and get a lot of applications to try to fill their
Yeah.
classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Prices, 100% of their students are paying something less than full price. Uh, there are 47% of the students who are getting more than 50% off. I've come around to the idea that the most valuable metric is you just add up the half to full,
And the
the
full.
full, and the more than full. And just add
Sure.
that up. One number. How many
Yep.
people are paying less than half price?
Yep.
So here it's 47% of the school is paying less than half price. And that's because they have to go out there and discount. A school like this, they have to go out there and discount in order to try to keep up their already marginal LSAT and GPA profile. they
Mm-hmm.
they have to discount it, otherwise people just won't choose it.
This report again has weirdness, right? Because it says total number of students is 1199, but the total number of students receiving grants, am I misreading this? Is 1204?
Who knows? I mean, that's the other thing that the American Bar Association apparently doesn't do is like fact check these documents because
Yeah.
we find, I mean, we have a team, Michael, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
They get reports answering help emails. They get
Yeah.
they get reports about the 509s being wrong. And then Michael goes out or his team goes out and investigates, and almost always they end up changing the reports. The schools will
Yeah.
be like, "Oh yeah, 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 oh yeah, thanks for catching that," and they'll
So the
actually change the
ABA should
report.
be like, yeah,
One
funding
would think.
what we're doing.
One
So
would
this
think.
is wild. Here's another interesting number, right? The total number of students, assuming these numbers are close to accurate, and it looks like they might be because they're saying 54% are receiving less than half, and 47, like you said, are receiving more than half. So 100% of the school is getting a grant.
Yeah,
So
yeah, 100%
that's wild.
discounted.
So that just if you're wondering whether a nominal tuition has any meaning at this school, it has zero.
Well, and at all ABA accredited schools across the country, it has very little value, right? Didn't we calculate that? That it's like 19% or something?
Very little. Yeah, I mean, as long as some people are paying it, maybe it
Yeah.
has some
I
meaning
would
in the
say
world.
that if
But like,
I
if
think in
no
order
one
for
is
the
paying
price to
it, then
be
what
in
is
any
it?
fair sense real,
Hmm.
you would need more like half of the people
Yeah,
paying full price.
yeah. Yep.
If like half the people paid full price, I'd still be kind of going, really? What's going on with the other half who are paying something less? How do I get in that half? But at all ABA, it's just a wild stat. At all ABA accredited schools across the country, 200 something accredited schools, the average is like, or the, sorry, the total is like 19% paying full price, like
Yeah.
81% paying a discounted price. So law school tuitions are fake.
Well, and your 50% number is not the expected percentage of most. When you talk about scholarships, most people think it's a rarefied thing. I wouldn't be shocked if most people think at first, before listening to this podcast, that scholarships go to 5%,
Oh yeah,
10,
man on the
10%.
street. How many
Yeah.
people do you think pay full price for law school versus how many people do you think get a
Yep.
scholarship?
Yep. Exactly.
Scholar. Oh yeah, no, it's. Oh, and the schools themselves are they're gonna cry poor all the time and talk about, oh yeah, no, you really shouldn't expect scholarships.
Yeah.
Oh really? So 4 out of 5 students get scholarships, but I shouldn't expect a scholarship?
Oh, you mean 4 out of 5 don't get scholarships, or are you saying 4 out of 5 do get scholarships? Like
Yeah,
that's what most people would expect. They would expect those numbers to be flipped. They might even hear
exactly.
that and think that they're confused, and
Yeah,
apply the 19%
yeah,
to those getting scholarships
yeah. So I don't want to spend too much time figuring out what the deal is with Mitchell Hamline because
because
I
it
think we
sucks.
already know the deal with Mitchell Hamline.
Yeah.
But let's talk about employment outcomes of their 398. I guess this must be the most recent class that we have. It's a big school, right? Because they got this huge part-time program.
Yeah. It's massive.
Of 398 students reported, only 247 of them, or 62% of them, have a JD required job.
Yeah. So that confirms John's story. It's not shocking at all that John ran into someone who's in the 38% in a non JD required job.
Yeah, you don't have to work at the building supply and sell concrete or whatever it was to John. Leveling sand, sorry. Yeah, so 62% are working in a JD required job. 38% are selling sand at a
Yeah.
building supply.
Yeah.
A whopping 6 of them are in Big Law. Big Law is where the big money is. So, you're looking at 1.5% of these people who are making 6 figures plus right out of law school. So even the people who are working in JD required jobs from Mitchell Hamline are not making the kind of money that you think lawyers make if you watch TV.
Hmm.
They did produce a Supreme Court justice, just kind of a fun fact here, Chief Justice Warren E. Burger, in 1931.
Famous justice. I that makes me think, what was the ranking back then?
Yeah, I'm going
And
to say
how have
it was
rankings changed dramatically?
I'm going to say that it was a much more prestigious school than it is today
Yeah.
if it was able to produce a chief justice because with like what even is the path to get to a clerkship on the Supreme Court from a school like this?
Well, maybe back in the 30s, 1930s.
Oh
Things
no,
were
I
so
mean
much.
today.
Oh, today? Yeah, you've got it. You've got to be at a top law school and then clerk for some federal judge, right? And then work
I
your
wonder
way
if
up.
they're reporting. Oh, this must be because this is the ABA report, so we can see. Yeah, they have 0 federal clerkships from the entire class. Yeah,
Hey, well, you're
0
not
out of
producing a chief
350.
justice then.
No, but I mean, they're never going to never stop talking about Chief Justice Warren E. Burger, right? I would
Yeah.
imagine that there's pictures of him, fucking posters on the wall everywhere. He's got to be
Yeah.
in their promotional materials. They're still trying to milk that. Uh,
Asking the family to donate to the library.
I mean, they're probably paying his family to use his
Yeah,
likeness
they're
in
probably
their marketing
it's
materials.
flipped.
Honestly,
So if you pay full price there, but you don't have to pay. You can't pay full price there.
you
But
can't pay full price. No one pays full price.
if
Yeah.
you're paying 98% of tuition, then that's turning around and going to the Burger
Oh
family.
boy. Um, They have flexible study options, including blended learning for the first 4 semesters. What? 1/3 online and 2/3 in person. Students come to
Wait, that's a
campus twice a
benefit?
semester and spend the rest of each semester off campus completing coursework online. The on campus portions are intensive sessions filled with skills training and real world case study. During the off campus time, students have weekly deadlines but complete the work on their own schedule. Wait, how's that 1/3 online and 2/3 in person? If you're only coming to campus twice a semester for the first 4 semesters, that's 2/3 online and 1/3 in person, right? Oh, no, the rest of it's asynchronous. I see. So they come to campus twice a semester. They do 2 super intensive a week or something.
Yeah.
Then they go home and they have a few Zoom classes because you know that the professors don't like teaching on Zoom
Yeah.
because they're old and don't understand technology.
Mm.
Then the rest of it, they just have deadlines, but they complete the work on their own schedule. I
Oh,
gotta
so
say,
yeah,
that
okay.
is like more what actual lawyer work looks like, right?
Mm.
Doing work on your own schedule.
Yeah, you know what they're doing here though is they're fully complying with whatever the ABA has
Right.
required that they do to be
Yep.
online.
Yep.
They didn't come up with this as a learning tool.
Yep. Starting in semester 5, students have access to a range of courses in a variety of formats, including on campus and fully online, in addition to the blended format. Uh, for any courses they take in semesters 5 through 8 in the blended format, you only come to campus once a week. You come to campus for a capstone week.
Blah blah blah.
Yeah. That's um Josh has a section on here. Awards and accolades, LOL. Mitchell Hamlin's dispute resolution program, anchored by the Dispute Resolution Institute, ranks in a tie for 7th in the nation, making it 24 consecutive years the program has been ranked 9th or higher. 24, the cherry
What?
picked numbers are hilarious. 24 consecutive years the program has been ranked 9th or higher. It's like they hired somebody who does like the sports broadcast stats,
Yeah, yeah.
where it's like
Find
in
something
the
good
last
here.
9 consecutive night games where it was raining.
And there was a reported foul on the field.
Okay, so apparently they've got some reputation for dispute resolution. Let's see. They give some LSAT study advice. Ooh.
What?
A typical course of study occurs during the 2 months leading up to an exam for about 20 hours a week. So it's like a part-time job. That's what they say. So they want, I mean, hey, I guess that the students are following this advice because the students have garbage LSAT scores.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, sure. Sign up for the next test, right? Look, a typical course of study occurs during the 2 months leading up to an exam. You know what that enables them to do? That enables them to tell a student who today is the deadline for the next LSAT.
Yeah.
They are going to tell that student, well, typical course of study is 2 months leading up to the exam. You only have 6 weeks because today's the deadline for the test 6 weeks from now. But I think if you work hard at it, 20 hours a week
Yeah, you
between
can do
now and the
it.
test,
Yeah.
it'll work.
I've
You
seen
can do
people
it.
do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's where 151s come from. So,
Yeah.
and that's what they're about. That's all they care about.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Um, There's a professional licensure page in their admissions section that encourages applicants to schedule a consultation to verify bar eligibility. Oh,
Wait,
interesting.
what? Yeah, that's weird because how many applicants are you getting?
Huh.
Or how many, yeah, people. Wait, it encourages applicants. I think that's an interesting word as opposed to those who have been accepted. Because it's like an opportunity for them to get more information about you beyond their worry about your bar
Mm.
eligibility.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. They helpfully give the number for the Minnesota State Board of Law Examiners. to do a confidential consultation with a character and fitness administrator. I wonder if
Yeah.
every state has that. Because if states have that, that would, what they're probably doing here is just trying to save themselves a bunch of time. We get lots of
Yeah.
questions about bar eligibility, like, oh, I was arrested for
Mm,
weed when I was a freshman in college or whatever. And it's like, oh, well, I don't know. Call the state board of law examiners. Here's the number.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that should be our response to all those questions, I think. Okay, well, that's
Well,
the deal with Mitchell Hamline.
don't go unless you're going for free.
Don't go unless you're going for free, and even then, you got to look at your other options because you're not rubbing shoulders with the like best and brightest at a school like this.
Wait, what
You're
about
not going
Burger?
to. You're
Oh,
not.
he's dead. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, like right. They've got pictures. I would guarantee that they have pictures of this Supreme Court justice on their marketing materials. And
Mm-hmm.
then you look into the 509 report and you see a zero, a big fat bagel on their federal clerkships. So
Mm-hmm.
not only are you not going to become a Supreme Court justice, you're not even going to clerk at your local district court
Yeah.
or the federal circuit court. Like
Yeah.
you're not.
Yeah.
I mean, there are state and local clerkships, sure, but
Yeah.
the circuit, wherever that is, you're not. No, they don't have any placement in the federal courts.
Despite the huge class. It's a huge class.
Right, gigantic class. Yeah, 0 for 350 on federal clerkships and 6 in big law. So yeah, it's just not. On what planet is it Minnesota's law school of
I
choice?
don't know.
It might be the biggest law school in Minnesota.
Oh, so that's the argument. People are
Yep.
choosing us more than the other schools because that's some real logic there.
Ah, it's a
Because
fact. No, it's a fact, man. More people choose Mitchell Hamline than choose any other school in Minnesota. I'm just stating facts.
Okay.
No, it's Minnesota's law school of choice. No, that's your conclusion.
I get
The
it.
fact
You know
is,
that.
you have a lot of people there.
Yeah, it plays off the ambiguity of whatever the hell that means.
It's a perfect LSAT question.
Yeah.
2 sentences in the argument. More students go to Mitchell Hamline than any other school in Minnesota. Therefore, Mitchell Hamline is Minnesota's law school of choice. Right? And the way you would react to that, if that was a real LSAT question, is you would say, what does school of choice mean?
Yeah. What the hell does
you
that
said
mean?
school of choice in your conclusion, but you never said school of choice in your evidence.
Mm-hmm.
So even if more people go there, that doesn't mean that it's the school of choice. Okay.
Yeah. All right. Ready for word of the week?
Yeah, let's do it. What's the word of the week?
Lacunae? I have no idea.
I would say lacunae.
Lacunae. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lacunae. This is sent in by Ask Button and admissions team member Rachel. A common law prosecution is not possible, therefore, unless there is a true gap in the statutory system, and today there are few lacunae.
Suggesting there are few gaps.
I think that context makes me think that lacunae are gaps. I would
Yeah.
have to read more. By the way, if I imagine a lot of listeners going like, "Oh, well, I'm never going to read shit like that. That's not what are you talking about? Lacunae?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? That's not a real
Yeah.
word."
Plural of lacuna.
They never use a word like that on Suits or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, no. The reason why this came in is because this is from Understanding Criminal Law, the 7th edition by Joshua Dressler. Rachel must have encountered this in her 1L classes and sent it in as word of the week. So it goes to show how bad law school textbooks are in a lot of ways. You're just like reading these cases. We think lacunae here means gaps. The
I
logic
think
of that
so.
is basically, unless
There
there's a
aren't
true
gaps.
gap in the statutory
Mhm.
system, a common law prosecution isn't possible. Today, there are few lacunae, suggesting there aren't these gaps.
Yeah. Or there might be some, but not many. So it's unlikely to happen.
Yep.
Okay.
It's the plural of lacuna, which means an absent part, especially in a book or other piece of writing.
Okay.
So,
So a statue. Okay. Which is a piece of writing. Yeah. All right.
yeah, no, that was a judge getting fancy with their good vocabulary.
Yeah.
Instead of just writing gap again, I could have just said, and today
They
there
could
are a
have
few
said
gaps.
lacuna, unless there's a true lacuna in the statutory system. And today there are a few lacunae. That would have been fun. You'd be like, oh, what the hell is this?
That's funny. Lacuna means gap. If you are interested, you can go to lsat.link/wow to check out all of our previous words of the week. Be LSAT famous. Ask us questions or share news with us on our website, thinkinglsat.com, or on the socials at LSAT Demon. If you have questions about LSAT Demon, email help@lsatdemon.com. Check out our other podcast, LSAT Demon Daily. That was episode 524 of the Thinking LSAT podcast. Thanks all y'all for listening. Nice knowing you. Don't pay for law school.